At Christmas dinner, my grandfather looked confused and said, "Where's the new car I bought you with my inheritance money?" "What car, Grandpa?" The entire table went silent except for the soft clinking of Cousin Beth's wine glass against her teeth. My mother's face drained of all color while my stepfather suddenly became very interested in his green beans, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Grandpa's weathered hands reached into his jacket pocket, pulling out a worn leather checkbook and reading glasses. $18,000 I transferred to your mother last spring, sweetheart, for your graduation gift. The red Honda you picked out at the dealership. His voice carried that gentle confusion that came with his advancing dementia, but his financial records had always remained sharp. My stomach dropped as I processed each devastating word. "Grandpa, I never got a car. I'm still taking the bus to work every day." The silence stretched unbearably until my Aunt Margaret excused herself to check the turkey, though it had been perfectly carved for 20 minutes. My stepfather finally looked up from his plate, jaw clenched tight, while my mother dabbed at her suddenly sweating forehead with her holiday napkin. Grandpa fumbled through his checkbook with determined precision, finding the carbon copy he was searching for. $18,000. April 15th, 2023. Memo says Sarah's graduation car fund. He held the yellow slip up to the candlelight, squinting at his own handwriting. "Called your mother that morning to make sure it went through. She said you cried happy tears and couldn't wait to show me pictures." The betrayal hit like ice water in my veins as I stared at my mother's guilty expression and my stepfather's defensive posture. Every bus ride in the freezing rain, every missed job interview because the route didn't reach that part of town. Every night I'd work double shifts at the diner just to afford basic necessities, while $18,000 of my grandfather's love sat in their account. My mother finally spoke in a whisper that barely carried across the table. "Can explain this, Sarah. It's not what it looks like." "Explain what exactly?" My voice came out sharper than intended. "Explain how you told your own father that I got a car when you know I've been begging you for rides to job interviews for 8 months." My stepfather's fork clattered against his plate as he finally looked up with something dangerous flickering behind his eyes. The rest of the family sat frozen, probably calculating how quickly they could escape this genetic crime scene. Grandpa's confusion deepened as he looked between us, his mind struggling to process why his generous gift had evaporated. "But Dorothy, you showed me the pictures on your phone. The red Honda with the bow on it." Sarah was so excited she was crying. His voice broke slightly, and I realized this sweet old man had been living for months believing he'd made his granddaughter's dreams come true. My mother's hands shook as she reached for her wine glass, downing half of it before attempting to speak. "The thing is, Sarah, we had some unexpected expenses with the house repairs and..." She trailed off as my stepfather shot her a warning look that could have frozen the gravy. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity as I realized they'd been actively deceiving my grandfather about it for 8 months. "Show me your bank statements," I said quietly, my voice carrying the kind of deadly calm that comes right before someone completely loses their shit. "Show me exactly where that money went." The Christmas tree lights twinkled mockingly, while my entire family sat in stunned silence, probably realizing their little secret was about to explode like a nuclear bomb at the dinner table. 2 hours later, after Grandpa had been taken home and the family had scattered, I sat in their living room with bank statements spread across the coffee table like evidence. The $18,000 had been systematically drained through casino ATM withdrawals, luxury restaurant charges, and payments toward my stepfather's motorcycle I'd never even seen. The red Honda with the bow had been a complete fabrication, probably a stock photo they'd shown my grandfather. When I contacted an attorney the following week, she explained that what they'd done constituted wire fraud and elder abuse, both felony charges. 6 months later, they pled guilty to avoid trial, and the $18,000 plus interest was returned to my grandfather, who finally bought me that red Honda along with a tearful apology for doubting my struggles. But how do I tell him that I want a beat-up Honda instead of a red one?